Hi, my name is Olajide Olagunju, and I'm the author of the book How to Resolve the Conflict, which I would like to share with you now. How to resolve a conflict. The book is the text book for the lecture series you just joined, which is also titled How to Resolve a Conflict. And this is How to Resolve a Conflict, Lecture 15. Welcome. I do hope that you enjoy the interaction today around the discussion. Lecture 50 means that we've been doing this for 50 times. So you have 49 lectures that you need to watch if you are joining us for the first time. It will be worth your while. It's be a very interesting adventure, going through this lecture series. And today is very special because this is the 50th edition. It means that this is the 50th day of the year. There's a lecture for each day of the year. Welcome to the 50th lecture, and I do hope, as I said, that you enjoy it. We are in the process of discussing the person of the mediator. Who is the mediator? What must she know? What must he know? What must he do? What must she do? How should should he engage the parties? What are his qualities? How how does she deal with things happening excuse me, in the mediation process? How does she know what to do at what point in time? How does she explain why what he's doing at this particular point of the mediation? So that's precisely what we are looking at, and it's been a very interesting conversation for me personally. And we're probably spending more time on the mediator than on any other aspect of this lecture, and it's so far, and it's understandable because the person of the mediator is the key to making things happen, making resolution happen. If you have a good mediator, most likely you have a good resolution. And so it's very important that we're dwelling a lot on the person of the mediator. And what we're discussing now around the person of the mediator, we're discussing coping with change. So as usual, we read from the text, we have a discussion, and then we move on. So I read, coping with change. We have discovered earlier on that conflict results from change. Conflict results from change. So let's pause there a little bit. So if there's no change, there will be no conflict. That's the point that I'm making in the book. So since we could continue for a long time, many years, many days, no conflict, all is moving on. Shall I say smoothly? But when change occurs in either the parties or their situations, or their situation, or their environment, or their world, then it's almost certain there will be a conflict because things are either, I like the word things fall apart. That's the title of the book by Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart. If things fall apart, there will be conflict. But things don't really have to fall apart. It could just be the small changes. It could be not dramatic or drastic changes. But so I was saying that changes do occur. Change does occur, and it is what triggers a conflict. Um, and so changes are very important to a mediator. So if a mediator understands the change or changes that occur in the relationship in conflict, then he or she is able to most likely understand where to look at. And then once he or she understands where to look at, it's almost certain that she knows what to look at in the place where she's looking or is looking as the mediator. And so that's why changes are very important, because changes trigger conflict, and understanding changes and what caused them to happen, what triggers them, could help us move towards effective conflict resolution. So change. Let's continue the reading. So I read, we had discovered earlier on that conflict often results from change. The mediator must help the parties to understand how the process of change can be more acceptable. How the process of change can be more acceptable. That they do not panic when change happens. So they're able to accept it well. Maybe because change is inevitable. So the mediator helps the parties to understand how the process of change can be more acceptable. Secondly, the mediator helps the party to understand how insecurities and uncertainties that come with change can be reduced. I guess if you don't panic or worry unnecessarily at the fact that there's a change, and you are more able to understand the insecurities and uncertainties that may come up with the particular change, how they can be reduced. Because once you are comfortable, in quotes, with the incidence of change, you are probably most likely in a frame of mind to begin to see, probably even leverage it to actually see how you can improve yourself, improve your relationship, improve your business, your production. So that what would have been a problem is turned to an advantage. What would have been probably a serious situation of insecurity and uncertainty is turned into making things more secure, making things more certain in terms of better organization and all that. But it begins with, first of all, understanding that change is inevitable and that this conflict, is not bad. It's just what helps you to know, oh, the change has occurred, and we need to realign ourselves to deal with issues that trigger the change, or that the change triggers. So we need to also help parties to understand how the consequences of change can be made less threatening. So it's just what you already mentioned. When change occurs, inevitably there will be consequences. So, and the good thing is to look at the change, you know, and see what consequences it's triggered and manage those consequences. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is equanimity, being calm in the face of change. And especially, I'm making a point that it is the business of the mediator, the work of the mediator, the duty of the mediator to make people relax at changes so that they can address it effectively and probably draw mileage from it. Use it as a leverage to create a better life, a better relationship. Let me read on. Once the mediator succeeds in A, making the parties comfortable with the changes that have led to the conflict, and B, helping them to deal with these changes with equanimity, it will be easier for the parties to move towards fashioning realistic options for change. So that's the point that I guess I just made. You know, when you as a mediator makes the parties comfortable with the changes that have led to the conflict, especially given the background that changes are inevitable. And secondly, you helping them, in addition to making them feel comfortable with incidents of change, helping them to deal with these changes with equanimity. It will be easier for the parties to move towards fashioning realistic options for change. Very important point, I think. The mediator does not panic, even if everything is going down, because these changes that we are facing, that's our humanity, Change is an intricate part of our humanity. When I said before that conflict is inevitable, change has to also be inevitable because it is change that triggers conflict. And so a good mediator does not panic or unnecessarily worry faced with change. Because if you worry as a mediator, because of change, the changes are occurring, how would you be able to have the frame of mind, the presence of mind, the equanimity yourself to engage the change and the conflict? So somebody has to be in control. Somebody has to have control. Somebody has to know that it is my duty to take charge and to help parties take charge. That's what they are engaged me. That's why they are engaged me. That's why they probably pay me to do. Sometimes mediators, often mediators are paid. And so it's being professional to have the presence of mind always, in spite of the challenges that may be around. It's not that we celebrate challenges or misfortune, problems. It's just that if we jump into the arena, if we start allowing the situations and the circumstances to shape our perspective of our thinking, we become unuseful. We become unfruitful. We become unable to do our work as mediators. I think we should stop here. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. Just press the subscribe button on your screen. If you can, get a copy of the book and read. It's available on all channels of all outlets of Amazon globally. Also, please make your comments. We are learning together. Thanks, and let's do this again tomorrow in lecture 51. Thank you so much for joining me today.